never get a second chance at a first impression. Those first 5 seconds, they're sacred. Your energy walks in before your body does. Your spirit speaks before your mouth moves. In that heartbeat, people decide, do I trust you? Do I respect you? Do you matter? Ever walked into a room and felt invisible, like no one saw your value until you had to shout for it? That ends today. Respect isn't begged for, it's commanded, and you don't need to raise your voice to command it. You don't need a crown to walk like royalty. You don't need money to carry presence. All you need is awareness of your power in the first 5 seconds. That's all it takes. Do these 8 things, and people will feel your spirit before they know your name. When you walk into a room, you're not just arriving physically, you're stepping into the awareness of every soul in that space. Whether they realize it or not, they're reading you, scanning for cues. Is this person sure of themselves? Do they carry value? Can I trust their presence? Here's the truth. If you walk in asking for permission to exist, people will unconsciously treat you like you need their approval to matter. But when you walk in with purpose, something shifts in the atmosphere. You don't need to be arrogant, you don't need to be loud, but your presence alone should say, I belong here. The way you step in, how you carry your shoulders, the direction of your gaze, it tells a story before you ever open your mouth. Purpose doesn't ask for validation, it brings its own. The moment you step into a room like you know exactly why you came, you don't have to convince people to respect you. They feel it. Because respect is drawn to certainty, not to perfection, but to conviction. When you walk in like your mission matters, the room listens. There's a massive difference between a person who drifts into a space and one who arrives with clear intent. People can feel the energy of someone who is grounded. You know why that matters? Because in a world full of noise and distraction, clarity is rare, and the rare is always respected. When you walk in with purpose, you don't have to adjust to everyone else's energy. You set the tone. You dictate how you'll be received, not because you control people, but because you've already decided who you are. That's the kind of quiet strength that commands attention without demanding it. When your mind is aligned with your movement, when your spirit and body walk in step with intention, your presence does the talking. People start to lean in, they start to listen differently, they ask, who is that? Not because you said anything extraordinary, but because how you entered said everything. Purpose doesn't rush. It doesn't shrink. It doesn't overcompensate. It just is. And the moment you learn to walk in like that, you stop chasing respect and start attracting it. You see, when you walk in with purpose, you silence doubt, not just in others, but in yourself. There's something about knowing why you're somewhere that steadies your feet, straightens your back, and sharpens your focus. It's not about being better than anyone else in the room. It's about not being less than who you were created to be. Purpose doesn't play small. It doesn't apologize for showing up. It carries a quiet inner voice that whispers, I'm here on assignment. That mindset separates you, because the person walking in with permission is looking around, trying to find a place to fit in. But the one walking in with purpose builds their place. They create space just by existing in their truth. They don't wait for an invitation to bring value, they bring it with them. And the moment you do that consistently, something powerful happens. People stop questioning whether you belong and start wondering how they ever functioned before you arrived. There's no need to dominate the room. This isn't about ego, it's about ownership. When you own your space, you don't need to compete, you contribute. And contribution begins with intention. Purpose is quiet, but it's never invisible. People might not be able to explain what they feel when you walk in, but they'll know it's different. That's the kind of presence that shifts atmospheres. That's the kind of energy that makes people sit up straighter when you speak, because you didn't walk in to prove anything. You walked in because you knew you had something to offer. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth but doesn't need to announce it. Their actions do the work. Their consistency builds the trust. Their integrity leaves the impression. That's what walking with purpose creates, not a moment of attention, but a legacy of respect. Every time you step into a room, you're sending a message. Whether you mean to or not, your posture, your expression, your stride, it's all communicating something. Are you confident or cautious? Are you grounded or distracted? Are you intentional or accidental? Purpose is what anchors you. It says, I'm not here by chance. It's the difference between a candle flickering in the wind and a lighthouse standing firm in the storm. And people respect what's anchored when you walk in like you've been through something but you're still standing, still striving, still shining. That demands attention. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. Truly, deeply, fully present. And in a world that's so often checked out and distant, presence is a superpower. Purpose puts your soul in your steps. It gives your movements weight. It makes your presence memorable. And that's what people respect. Not the show, but the substance. It's not about being flashy or wearing expensive clothes or having a big title. Some of the most respected people don't say much at all. They just move like they know why they're breathing. Like every step has meaning. That kind of energy is rare and it's felt. When you walk in with purpose, people adjust. They don't even know why. Sometimes they just sense that they need to show up differently around you. That's what alignment does. It creates a gravitational pull, because purpose is powerful but never loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just shows up, and everything else shifts. That's the standard you need to set for yourself. You don't walk in like you're hoping someone notices you. You walk in like you've already made peace with who you are. Like you fought battles, healed wounds, and you still found the courage to keep showing up. That kind of spirit doesn't just walk in, it enters like a message. People respect authenticity, and nothing is more authentic than a person moving with purpose. When you walk in aligned with your mission, your vision, your truth, there's no act to maintain. There's no mask to hold up, and that transparency is refreshing. Because so many people are walking in with borrowed identities, trying to fit molds they were never meant to fill. But when you show up as you, unfiltered, unshaken, undeniable, you break the mold entirely. And in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. That's what purpose does. It liberates, not just you, but everyone watching. It speaks to the part of people that's been hiding, that's been unsure, that's been afraid to step forward. When you walk in with purpose, you don't just command respect, you inspire it. And that's something no one can fake, copy, or deny. Let your entrance speak before you do. Let your walk be a reflection of your why. Let your silence carry more weight than noise. Let the way you stand show the storms you've survived. Let every room you enter be reminded that when purpose walks in, everything else makes room. There's something powerful about the eyes. They speak before the mouth ever moves. In the first 5 seconds, your eyes do the talking. They show your peace or your panic. When you lock eyes with calm confidence, you're saying, I see you. I'm not afraid to be seen either. That quiet assurance is magnetic. It doesn't scream. It doesn't perform. It just is. People are drawn to presence, not performance. When your eyes hold steady with calm and clarity, it shifts how people see you. You no longer feel like someone they need to question. You feel like someone they need to listen to. Respect is born in those unspoken exchanges where one soul recognizes strength in another. Calm confidence in your eyes says, I know who I am. It tells people, I've faced fire and didn't flinch. I've carried pain and didn't break. I've walked through loss and kept my heart open. That kind of eye contact can't be faked. It's real. It's rooted. It's rare. There's a big difference between eye contact that begs and eye contact that speaks from wholeness. One is restless. The other is restful. People feel that. When your eyes dart around looking for reassurance, they sense insecurity. But when your eyes are still, focused, present, they feel grounded, they feel safe, they feel seen. That's what commands respect, not fear, not flash, but the feeling that they're standing in front of someone who knows themselves, truly knows themselves. And here's the thing, that kind of presence makes people curious. They lean in, they wonder, what's their story? You don't have to explain it. It's in your eyes, it's in your calm, it's in your silence. Because silence is loud when it's filled with meaning. Confidence doesn't mean walking in like you're better than everyone. It means walking in without needing to compare. You're not sizing anyone up. You're not playing chess with people's opinions. You're just there, present, whole. And that's powerful, because most people aren't. Most people walk in looking to be something. You walk in knowing you already are. That shift, that's what changes how people treat you. You stop being a question mark in their mind. You become an exclamation point. They don't know why, but they feel it. They feel the difference between noise and depth, between surface and soul, and when they feel your depth, they respect it. Not because you asked, because you lived it. That's what your eyes say. That's what your walk says. That's what your silence says. You've done the work. You've faced the mirror. You've stopped hiding. That's rare. That's powerful. And it's unforgettable. So next time you walk in, don't lead with fear. Lead with fire. Not the loud kind, the steady, grounded, silent flame that doesn't need to prove itself. It just burns. And everything around it feels the warmth. You don't need to be the loudest. You just need to be the most aligned. Walk in like your future depends on it, because it does. Walk in like your story matters, because it does. Walk in like someone who's already accepted themselves, because when you do, others follow. They feel that freedom in you, and it gives them permission to free themselves. That's what presence does. That's what purpose does. It changes the room without saying a word. So make those first 5 seconds count. Make them sacred. Because the way you enter, it sets the tone for everything that follows. And when you enter with purpose, the room rises to meet you. When you enter with purpose, people sit up straighter. They speak with more care. They listen with more intention. Not because you forced them to, but because something about your presence tells them this moment matters. And that's rare. You didn't come in to fill space. You came to shift it. You didn't come to take attention. You brought value with you. People can sense when you've done the inner work. They feel the weight of your words even before you speak. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. And presence is everything. See, you don't have to walk in like a hurricane. You can walk in like the sunrise, quiet, certain, undeniable. Stillness carries more power than noise ever could, because stillness speaks of mastery, mastery of self, of energy, of purpose. When your spirit is settled, your steps follow. You walk with intention. Not fast, not slow, just sure. You're not performing, you're not proving, you're just showing up fully, and people feel the difference. There's no scramble in your energy, there's no thirst in your gaze, just clarity. That's the kind of presence that doesn't just get attention, it earns respect. You didn't have to chase it. You didn't have to convince anyone. Because the truth is, when you believe you belong, others do too. They follow your lead. They calibrate to your certainty. Not because you shouted, but because you showed up like someone who understands their worth. And worth has gravity. That gravity pulls people in. It makes them reconsider how they show up around you. Because your alignment makes their chaos uncomfortable. Your calm challenges their rush. That's why purpose is so powerful. It doesn't compete. It doesn't compare. It just continues. And when people witness that kind of focus, they take notice. They can't help it because it's rare to see someone who knows where they're going, who isn't waiting for applause to keep walking, who doesn't need agreement to feel anchored. You become a mirror for them, not showing what they lack, but what they're capable of becoming. You don't inspire with your volume, you inspire with your vision. You don't move people by how loud you are, you move them by how clear you are. Your steps are steady. Your energy is intentional. Your presence speaks louder than words ever could. That's how you make a first impression. Not with noise, but with knowing. Not with hype, but with honesty. You walk in like someone who's been sent, not like someone trying to sneak in. You own your space. You carry your mission. You remember who you are, and in that remembering, you remind others of who they could be too. That's not just power, that's legacy. Because long after you leave the room, they'll still remember the feeling you gave them. That stillness, that calm, that confidence, it lingers. Not because you performed, but because you were fully you. Unapologetically. That's the energy that opens doors, that builds trust, that commands respect, without ever asking for it. So the next time you walk into a room, remember this. You are not there to seek acceptance. You are there to shift the atmosphere. You are not just a person walking in. You are a presence being felt. Don't shrink, don't rush, don't scan the room for approval. Just stand in who you are, walk in your truth, look people in the eyes, and let your presence speak for itself. Because when purpose walks in, everything else makes room.